When I made a 60-second warships video for Bismarck a while back, I referred to the battleship as she in the video, as I do for all ships, and then the comment came in immediately, as it almost always does on anything related to Bismarck these days. But why do so many people refer to Bismarck as he instead of the standard she that is used for nearly every ship in the world, and has been for basically as long as humans have been sailing the seven seas? Was I wrong to say she for Bismarck? Are people wrong for saying he? To answer the first question, I believe the biggest reason why many refer to Bismarck as he these days is due to the immense popularity of Sabaton's song about the ship from just a couple of years ago. And that song rocks. Bismarck coming out of the fog, guns firing, blasting metal guitars, the king of the ocean indeed. Half of you watching this video were headbanging along as soon as you heard the first chord in that clip. And of course it's going to stick in anyone's mind who hears it. So for the second question, was I wrong to call Bismarck she? Was Sabaton wrong in their lyrics? Was the king of the ocean really the queen instead? The answer, as with many things in history, is it's complicated. To start with, we're going to need a quick introduction to German grammar. I'm sorry about this, but it's required. Unlike in English, where all nouns can use the article the anchor, the cabin, the ship, in German, every noun is either masculine, der, feminine, die, or neutral, das. So there is der Anker, die Kammer, or das Schiff. Haha, you must be thinking, ships are neutral, not masculine or feminine. So Bismarck should be it, not she or he. I have only things were that simple. See, the proper name of something in German can be a separate gender from what kind of item it is. For a ship example, let's use the other ship from the Bismarck class. If I say, das Schlagschiff Tirpitz, that is correct. The battleship Tirpitz indeed. But das Tirpitz would sound hilarious to a native German speaker. Since the battleship herself was feminine, when speaking about it in name only, you would obviously say die Tirpitz to refer to her as feminine, like in her nickname, die einsame Königin des Nordens, the lonely queen of the north. I swear it's not as confusing in German as it sounds when trying to describe it in English. And that's how all ships are referred to in German to this day. For example, this clip from a recent German public television program about Bismarck refers to her clearly as she and die Bismarck.
Sie war das gefährlichste Schlachtschiff ihrer Zeit. Die Bismarck, Flaggschiff der deutschen Kriegsmarine.
So why would Sabaton go out of their way to call Bismarck he and the king of the ocean? Why are internet comment sections ablaze every time someone calls the ship she in English? Well, it turns out there is some precedent for using the masculine der when referring to a few ships in German. For example, Kaiser Wilhelm II personally declared that the ocean liner Imperator would be masculine, and thus it was known as der Imperator. Some ships that would sound especially strange when referred to in nickname form with a female article were also apparently referred to by their crews as he. Prinz Eugen being maybe the most famous. Die Prinz Eugen is how it was officially named, but apparently many of the crew simply called it the Prince. Der Prinz in German. Saying die Prinz would just sound too silly. Like in English, a feminine prince is a princess. None of these conditions apply to Bismarck, however. Hitler didn't decree that it would be masculine, and it wasn't nicknamed something else by the crew. So this is where it gets very interesting. According to the Kriegsmarine naval officer and then post-war historian Hans-Dieter Behrenbrock, the pocket battleship Admiral Scheer was widely known in the Kriegsmarine as der Scheer, or him. In fact, he writes in Verdammte See that the Admiral Scheer was one of the ships inexplicably considered male in the Navy, as those in the know called it der Scheer. Now, Admiral Scheer is the only ship he mentions by name as being referred to using masculine pronouns, but we do know that the first gunnery officer from 1933 to 1934 on the ship was a young Ernst Lindemann. He certainly would have been familiar with what the ship was called. As his career progressed, Lindemann became the unquestioned gunnery expert in the Kriegsmarine and was promoted to the rank Captain of the Sea. And then in 1940 he received orders to become the first captain of the brand new Bismarck, the pride of the Kriegsmarine. Lindemann and nearly all of the crew of the Bismarck perished at sea after she was sunk on her very first voyage. So there is little record of life on board. Nearly everything we know is from Burkhard Freiherr von Mülheim-Reckberg, the fourth gunnery officer of the ship and personal adjutant to Captain Lindemann. In his definitive book about the battleship, published near the very end of his life titled Battleship Bismarck, A Survivor's Story, he specifically recalls that Bismarck was always male, on the orders of Captain Lindemann. Captain Lindemann apparently felt that the ship was too powerful to be known as she, and given his previous experience on Admiral Scheer, he wouldn't have found it very strange to refer to his new command as he. Earlier in this video, though, there was a clip of modern German public television clearly calling Bismarck she. So what is going on? It seems pretty clear that calling Bismarck he was on-ship jargon, but the very short lifespan of the ship and of most of the crew meant that it died out before ever having a chance to spread to the rest of the Navy. If Captain Lindemann ever wrote down his order, it obviously did not survive, and the only record available is the recollection of one man written down 40 years later. Simply put, the ship was officially Die Bismarck, and so she stayed through history. But the publishing of Battleship Bismarck, a survivor story in 1980 brought the topic to the surface again, and during their research for their song and video, Sabaton surely read the book. And with more than 50 million views on YouTube alone, they have now widely spread the idea that Bismarck was king of the ocean around the globe. So is it right to say he or she for Bismarck? In German, I think it's more clear than in English. It's Die Bismarck. And to say so otherwise sounds kind of funny and odd. It's clearly what is used by historians, official documents, and any other reference to the ship. In English, though, where there isn't as strict a structure around gendering, it's probably a bit murkier. The crew likely used he fairly widely among themselves, and if you want to be one of those in the know, then there is some historical record to stand on there. Personally, I'll stick to she like I do for all other ships. It's what I'd use when speaking German, and it's what the ship was officially referred to, Bordjargon or not. But I'm also not going to start a flame war in the comments of every video that I hear using he. I hope you enjoyed the video, and yes, while I speak German, it is not my native language, and my pronunciation can be a bit funny at times, so the native speakers can feel free to have a go at me in the comment section. For the rest of you, liking this video and subscribing to the channel helps a ton, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.